Happy New Year. Today's January 5th. Clearly I just washed my hair and everything. I'm coming at you with my face breaking out and my hair wrapped up because what am I if not authentic? Honestly, it is what it is. But let's get ready. Let's have a little chat. I'm gonna sit and ramble about some of the things that have changed in my crazy life because nothing can stay consistent for more than 5 minutes. I'm hoping that that statement does not ring true for a while, but there are some really major changes that I've made. We're gonna get into it. First thing needs chapstick though. I'm gonna close that. What was I gonna? Oh, right. Okay. Oh no. I need my scissors. Hold please. I need to wax my eyebrows. I don't even know where to start with this. This first thing that I'm gonna talk, I don't know how to properly approach this. First thing I'm going to mention is my living situation. I know, I just moved. I've heard all of it, okay? I know it's crazy, things are changing again. For reasons that I'm not going to discuss, it does not make sense for Noah to live in Chicago anymore. So, we have come up with a solution. I will be moving into a studio by myself in the same building. I want to put it out there that I have nothing against Noah. Noah has nothing against me. There are just some things that did not happen the way that we planned, and again, it just doesn't make sense for him to be in Chicago anymore, and that is all I'm going to speak on it, except for obviously what will be happening to me. So I will be moving into a studio on February 10th, which is very exciting. Here's the thing, this was not an easy thing to come to terms with. Whenever we first had a conversation about it, I was obviously freaking out, and to be fair, I was also in the middle of finals and everything, so it was just a lot to handle at one time. I look crazy. Ugh, beautiful. It was a lot to take in, but we do have a solution now. I didn't want to bring up anything until we had a for sure solution. I did tour the studios and the 1-bedrooms for this place. I liked them both, but I honestly liked the layout of the studio better. I could have gone up to a 1-bedroom. It really wasn't that much of a difference in rent. Oh no, did I f it up? Oh no, that's just, there's wax in the way. Okay. Whew. I thought that I really just messed up my eyebrow there for a moment. Okay. Anyway, I really truly did just like the layout of the studio better. So I will be moving to a higher floor. I'll have a different view. I'll have a south side view now, which is not as pretty, but it's still pretty in its own way. You know, it doesn't have the Sears Tower and everything, but I still like it. Damn it. I don't know, why do I have so many different bags with so many different things? Everything needs to be in the same place, and it usually is, but it's not right now. It's bothering me. So that is going to be happening. Another thing that is really, really exciting that I don't know if I've ever really talked about. For the first few months that I was in this building, I did not have a parking space in the building. They just didn't have one available. I do now, which is phenomenal for so many reasons, but especially because it's cold outside right now. That's a big thing. But also, I will now have to be driving to school, and that is topic number 2 that I'm going to get into. When I talk about this, and when I say this out loud, it's gonna sound very random. But again, that's what the title of this video is, okay? It's gonna be rambling because I'm going to sit and explain. I'm not gonna go into too much detail because I did already actually record this video, but I rambled just way too much. I went way too far. When I speak about this topic, and when I say that I've thought about this, I'm talking about I've thought about the way that I was thinking whenever I was a mini child. You know what I mean? I could talk about this for hours and hours and hours, but I'm not going to do that. Okay, that didn't do anything. Damn it! Do you see that? My eye's twitching. What is going on? Before I get into this next topic, I'm gonna finish with my eyebrows because I feel like they're just kind of stressing me out and I don't need them. I'm gonna take the hair out. My hair's getting really long, actually. It's kind of becoming a little bit of a pain in the ass to handle, but that's okay. Next topic is school, because that has also changed again. No, I didn't drop out, but I changed my major. I did a lot of thinking on this. I'm gonna get to the point and then I'm going to explain. It is very it seems very random from an outside perspective, but I promise it's not as random as you may think. And if you've been watching for a while, maybe it makes a little bit of sense. I switched my major. Originally, I was business administration with a minor in finance. Now I am a neuroscience major with a concentration in pre-health. Let me explain. I know it's a very big switch. There were a few different options that I had as far as adding neuroscience as a part of my learning experience, because at first I was just going to add a neuroscience minor, which I didn't even know that was a thing until I started looking at DePaul's website, but you can get a neuroscience minor. Here's the thing with a neuroscience minor. Because I'm a business major, there's a lot of classes within a neuroscience minor that have prerequisite courses that I didn't take. For example, biology. I'm not taking that because, well, I am now. Well, not now. I'm going to be taking it eventually in the future. But a neuroscience minor had classes such as Introduction to Neuroscience, which makes sense, but in order to take that, you also have to take biology and chemistry and all this other stuff. So instead of adding 5 classes as a minor, you're adding on at least 7 to 10. So then I started looking into double majoring because I was well, I don't want all of my credits that I've already paid for and the classes that I've already taken to just go to complete waste. So I thought about double majoring. majoring. The problem with double majoring is whenever I first did the math, it seemed like it would make sense and it would only add on a little bit more time. But then I saw that whenever I originally did the math, I left out 48 credit hours, which in DePaul terms, by the way, is 12 classes, because DePaul goes on a quarterly system, so all of their classes are 4 credit hours. So 36 for like normal credit hours. I was missing 12 classes, which would have added on like another year at least. You know what I mean? Like it didn't make sense to double major at that point. But then I was like, okay, well, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. DePaul has this amazing thing where you can run a what if degree progress report, where it's like if you wanted to switch your major or add a minor or whatever, you could see where your credits would transfer. And whenever I did that, I only had like 2.5 more years left, and that's if I did like the bare minimum. And I'm already a little over 2 years in. That was kind of the reason that I just decided to make the full switch instead of just adding like a minor or something. Now I know that like going from business to neuroscience makes no sense. Big change. Here's the thing. Whenever I recorded this video before, I went into this whole thing about like my entire life I've always been kind of interested in the medical field, but then like I didn't feel like I prepared for it properly because I didn't take the proper classes in high school, because my high school experience just wasn't that great just due to things at home and like all this other stuff. So like even whenever I've thought about going into something that's more science focused, whatever, I just kind of pushed that idea to the side because I didn't think that it was possible, just because I didn't have the same prerequisites as somebody else who has like always wanted to be a doctor. You know what I mean? And I'm not even saying that I want to be a doctor. That is definitely a possibility. What made me want to change is I have thought about going into the medical field before. I thought about like what kind of career I want to have, and as somebody who like I don't sit still very well, I love being on my feet and like I love talking to people and stuff, I thought that something within the medical field might be a little bit better than something at a desk. Obviously, you have to be a lot more passionate than just that to go into something as demanding and life-altering as the medical field, and I'm fully aware of that. I've always been interested in math and science. My brain works with data and numbers, and the brain has also always fascinated me for so many different reasons. So if I'm going to study anything, I feel like neuroscience is the way to go. And I think something that really made me pull the trigger on it was going to school in person. If you guys have been following for a while, you would know that my first 2 years of college were all online, which there's nothing wrong with that, but there were a lot of things that made me want to go to school in person, and a big part of it was meeting new people and the opportunities that I would get and just being able to like learn better. Doing this last quarter in person and understanding how much of an impact being on campus and everything would have on my learning, it made me start to kind of resent the classes that I was taking, just in the way that none of them except for macroeconomics pertained to what I was doing. It kind of pissed me off. Then I started thinking about it and I was like, I really haven't taken that many courses as far as like ones that pertain to business. Like you think about a business major, it is diverse, and I don't think that there's anything wrong with business majors, especially if you don't know what to do, and obviously they're like you can do so much with them. There are a lot of people that have business degrees that will tell you this. They're very all over the place, if that makes sense. I was so confused last quarter as to why I was taking another art class, another history class. Nothing wrong with those, but I've already taken so many, especially my freshman year. I was also taking restaurant operations, which apparently was like required or something. I don't know. It was some kind of hospitality class. Hospitality, yeah, that can go into business and stuff, but it's like hospitality classes, like they're super easy, and I just wanted something. I wanted something more out of the classes that I was taking. I wanted something more stimulating. I just had this like urge to like be in a biology lab or something. Like I wanted more. And I think it was because I saw how much was available to me. Just being on campus in general, it's very different from online. I don't know how to explain it, but that's kind of, I think, what finally pushed me to like move into something a little bit more challenging like STEM. I love school and I love learning, and I think that just being challenged is something that I need. Last quarter I found myself really stressed out with a lot of the finals that I had and a lot of the research papers that I was doing. Even though the classes that I was taking were quote unquote easier than like STEM courses, I think I found myself so stressed out because I just didn't care. Not that I didn't care about the courses, I still got really good grades. I will always care about my grades and I will always try my best, but I didn't care about the content that I was learning about. I'm gonna have to put some concealer here because my eyebrows are still red from waxing them. I made myself really sick over these research papers for like no reason at all. There's no reason. I mean, I still got A's, which is I guess great, but like my stomach was just not, I had stomach issues for so long because of stress, and I know that it was stress because they went away right as school ended. So people ask me like, what do I want to do with a neuroscience degree? If I'm gonna make a big change like that, I should have something in mind, and I honestly think that I want to go into research. I think it'd be really good good at research. I could also get my MD. I don't know for sure. Here's the thing. You can go like MD or PhD. I mean, you could get both. If you really wanted to, you could get both. I would consider getting both if it wasn't so expensive to do that. But it's like you could focus on industry and like patients and being a doctor, or you can focus more on research. At least that's how I understand it. If I'm saying that wrong, please correct me. But I think I want to focus on research, and I think I want to go into like women's health. Women's health is like a really big thing for me. I think that there's a lot of research that needs to be done within women's health, and I think focusing specifically on that would help a lot in a lot of different areas. And if you know anything about the women's health field, like I don't even need to explain that. Long story short, we need more people in that field, and we especially need more women. And there's so much that we don't know, and there's so much that we just assume. And I feel like after going through my own stuff and being misdiagnosed and not having anybody advocate for me except for myself, on top of that, doing so much research and becoming so crazy trying to figure out what was wrong with me, and then finally like fixing my issue, which I did. I'm not gonna say that everything that I do is I'm still not perfect. Like up here is not perfect, but I know what was wrong with me and I fixed it with no help from my doctor. I was thrown on a birth control, just said to call it a day, and I tried it for 3 months, and it made me not to want to be here anymore. I remember whenever I told my doctor too that I wanted to get off of the birth control after trying it for 3 months, which is a good amount of time. Like I gave it time. I suffered for 3 months, but I remember telling my doctor that I wanted to get off of it because I didn't think that I had PCOS, which I don't, again. But I remember telling her that, and instead of like saying like, oh yeah, no, that makes sense, like I can understand where you're coming from, she was just like, well, are you sure that you want to do, like she was so disappointed. It almost seemed like she was mad at me. I can understand from her perspective, like if she was upset that I was questioning her diagnosis, but I feel like there's always been a part of me that felt like she was mad that she couldn't like keep me on the birth control. I don't need birth control. I never wanted to go on birth control, and I hate the idea of it. And I'm sick and tired of seeing all of these women being diagnosed with PCOS. PCOS is the new ADHD. Okay, nobody can tell me, oh my god, I can speak on this topic. This is not what this video is about. My point is, I think that women's health is what I want to focus on. I think that I'm very passionate about it. Clearly, I could literally ramble for hours and hours and hours, and I get real, when I ramble about it, I get really passionate. I start like screaming. I don't think that people understand how frustrating it is to be a woman and not have any of the answers that you need, and to not have people be on your side, especially the people that are supposed to be. And then you're like sat there and you're called crazy. Whatever. I think that going through my own stuff and finding a new love for research and a new love for like scientific knowledge and just all of that has made me more sure that going into something like neuroscience is what I would want to do. I think that neuroscience within itself, even though it doesn't directly relate to women's health, I can tell you some ideas that I have as far as like connecting neuroscience with women's health, but regardless, neuroscience, again, whenever you're taking classes in undergrad, you want to take classes that you're actually interested in. I think I would love learning about the brain. I have a lot of personal reasons for wanting to learn about the brain too. It's fascinating. It really is. It's the coolest organ ever. The first time that I recorded this was a couple of weeks ago, and I felt like I needed to justify every single little action, which I don't. I don't need to justify anything to anybody. I really don't need to explain anything to anybody. But I do have very loyal supporters, and I talk about my life a lot, and I love to share my life. So if I'm going to share my life, I might as well explain what's going on and why. With that being said, since I last tried to record this, I have actually gotten some hands-on experience in a lab, which is so cool. So I was working, and I met this neuroscientist at Northwestern. We got to talking, and he's more of a physiologist. That's what he focuses on mostly, and he invited me to shadow him, which was so cool, and he did a whole demonstration. I'm not going to get into the gory details of the demonstration, but we were there for 7 hours, and he let me try a lot of the like technologies and stuff. I don't know if physiology is what I would want to go into specifically. He spends a lot of his days in a very dark room after he mixes his solutions and is like done in the actual lab part of it. I'm so incredibly grateful that he gave me the opportunity to do that, because I think that it really just confirmed to me, like whenever I was there, I was so excited. I was, even if I didn't show it, like I was really excited. I was also really nervous. Every time I do my mascara, I concentrate too much. So take a pause. This is about to stop recording anyways, because I'm about to hit the time limit. I'm gonna put clothes on and then I'll come back. We're back. I'm getting ready for work right now, so I have my work clothes on. I just have a black long sleeve, and then I have this jacket over, and then I have black leggings. Even if I change my major, my style still doesn't change. I feel like the all black's just never gonna leave me. It's been at least 2 years that I've been rocking the all black. 3. It's 2025, babe. Okay, so where was I? Oh, I was talking about my time at Northwestern. So that was actually extremely exciting and cool, and I loved being there. I'm not even lying to you. I've been itching to go back. Like, I want to go back so bad, and I'm so incredibly grateful. His name is James. James put the time aside to teach me and everything, especially at a lab that has as much technology as Northwestern. That's just like, I can't believe. And he was talking about like possibly making it like a more consistent thing where I could bring in my schoolwork and I could just like shadow and watch, and like I shadow different areas of the lab and different labs and like all this other stuff. And I was like so cool. It was so overwhelming. Oh my god. Anyway, and then we started talking about grad school. You know, if Northwestern was somewhere that I wanted to go. I think that honestly switching my major to this is going to improve my life so much, because going back to kind of what I was talking about earlier about like not caring about the classes, I was really stressed out with all the work and everything that came with the classes that I was taking, and switching my major to neuroscience probably doesn't seem like it would help that. But I was talking to a few different people. I talked to people that are really close to me for like a month at least, whatever, before I make a really big decision. I'm like, does this make any sense? And everybody in my life that has known me and has seen me go through this journey with myself and like knows how much I love science, knows how passionately I speak about these topics with, they all say that it makes a lot of sense. And honestly, with the way that my brain works and like how neurotic and crazy and hyper fixated I get on things, like these kinds of topics, I feel like even though they may seem like more demanding or harder topics to learn about, I think that I'm going to enjoy learning about them so much more, which I think is going to make it seem a lot less daunting. So going into this next quarter is my first quarter with my neuroscience major. Because I switched my major, I registered for classes a little bit late, and also because I'm a business major, or was a business major, there's a couple of classes that I have to take before I get into the crazy stuff like biology, chemistry, all of that. So I will be taking 2 math classes this next quarter, which technically the quarter started yesterday, but it actually like starts tomorrow because tomorrow's Monday. So I'll be taking statistics, which I already took statistics, college and AP stats. I don't know why they don't count it. It's like a different elective, whatever. I've taken statistics. I know statistics. I can take it again. It doesn't matter. But then I'm taking another math class. I'm also taking pre-calculus with stats. So I've never taken a calculus course, but I am actually really excited for that. I love math. It's been so long since I've taken a math class, and I'm so excited to get back into it. Love numbers. Love it. I'm taking ethics of health sciences, which is a philosophical inquiry course, which is really exciting. Love that. Then I'm also taking psychology. I'm taking psychology 2. I already took psychology 1. Psychology 2 is actually required for the neuroscience portion of my major, so that's really exciting. I may possibly change my concentration. As of right now, I have a concentration in pre-health because, like I said, I think I want to go into women's health. I could change it more to like cognitive neuroscience or behavioral neuroscience or something. I believe those are like the different, I'd have to look more into the concentrations, but as of right now, the pre-health one, it seems like the most diverse, if that makes any sense. So we're gonna focus on that. And yeah, I'm so excited. With all the changes that have happened to me within the last 6, 7, 8 months of my life, I think that there's just a lot of things that I've realized, and I think there's a lot of things that happened for a reason. Going back to the roommate situation, I love Noah. I have no ill will against Noah. I wish him the best, and I know that he does the same for me. Again, it just doesn't make sense for him to be in Chicago anymore, and that's okay, and we figured out a solution. There's no hate in my heart. I'm glad that we'll both be okay in the situation, and I'm glad that we finally got it figured out, because whenever it wasn't figured out for a while there, I was definitely freaking myself out. I think with having Noah here, as much as I wanted him to thrive in Chicago and I wanted his life to like start growing in Chicago, I think I realized that like I shouldn't try to bring somebody from my past life in St. Louis into my life in Chicago, because my life in Chicago is very, very different, and I'm a very different person. And that's not to say that I hate my old life or I hate the person I was, because I will never forget her. She's a very big portion of who I am, but I think that it's better for me to be on my own, especially right now because of how many changes in my life I'm going through. I'm at that age, 22. Early 20s is whenever you're like, you try new things, you try to figure out what works best for you, and it's the best time of your life, but it's also the most difficult time of your life, and that's why you have so many mental breakdowns, because you don't know what the hell's going on, and you don't know what works the best, and you don't know yourself fully. And I think that's actually super cool, and it's also the reason why like I'm so open-minded and accepting of change, especially whenever it comes to like big changes like this, because even though it scares the hell out of me, like doing a STEM major with how much I work and like trying to support myself in the city, I'm terrified. I'm genuinely terrified, but because of how excited I am, that kind of overrides the fear. The fear is an indication that I'm doing the right thing, that I'm trying the right thing. There's another portion of this video that I want to get into, but I'm going to dry my hair real quick and then we'll talk about that. My hair really is getting long. It's been a while since I've seen it on camera. Alexa, pause. That, by the way, was the album Chapter 1 Verse 1 by Cynthia Erivo. I've been listening to a lot of Cynthia Erivo lately because like ever since Wicked came out, oh my god, I haven't even recorded since Wicked. I haven't talked about Wicked. Wicked is phenomenal. I don't need to talk about Wicked. Oh my god, I bawled my eyes out. Literally bawled my eyes out. You know what? I'll put the video right here of me bawling my eyes out. So good. So incredibly phenomenal. One of the best adaptations I've ever seen in my life. Anyway, that's not the point. The point of this part of the video is I thought that I would talk about my word for 2025 because I had a word last year too. I talked about the fact I don't like New Year's resolutions or the idea of them. I think they're stupid. I think that if you really want to change your life, you can do that at any point in time. I don't think that you need to wait until the first of the year. If the first of the year is a good excuse for you to start creating better habits, then by all means go for it. But I don't think that you need it in order to change your life. For me personally, instead of a resolution, I just give myself something to keep in mind as I move throughout the rest of the year. So last year my word was balance. I wanted to find balance in a lot of different areas of my life. I think that I'm still working on that for sure. I would argue that I've done a lot better in that area than I have in the past. But this year my word is intentional. I want the actions that I take to be done with intention, and I want there to be a reason behind them. Oh, sorry, train's going. I think with that and keeping that in mind, it might make me slow down a little bit. I tend to look at my life as just like a bunch of to-do lists and a bunch of different things to get done and check off instead of like actually slowing down and enjoying the moment and understanding why I'm doing the things I'm doing. I hope that that all makes sense. But with all of that being said, I'm not going to go on and ramble too much more because I think I've already talked for like an hour at this point. And even still, knowing me, I probably left out some major points, but just know that there are some like really big changes coming. And I also want to talk about the fact that like I can't promise that I'm going to get a video up every week or anything like that. Oh my god, this is like the third train in 30 seconds. What is going on? The train won't be an issue in my new apartment. I'm much higher and I'm not on the same side. It doesn't even really bother me now until I want to record. YouTube for me is like a creative outlet, and I think that that's kind of the direction that I want to go with it moving forward. I would love to get monetary compensation from YouTube, and I think that if I did end up getting that eventually, I might focus on it a little bit more. Actually, I definitely would. A big part of it would be to help me get through school, and that way I would also not have to worry about like working so many late nights as often. Something that I'm extremely grateful for with YouTube is being able to look back at old videos and see how far I've come, especially with how much has happened in my life in the last 2 years and seeing where my life in Chicago started to where it is now. That is something that I'm always forever grateful for. I love making videos and the editing process and having those memories to look back on. I don't see myself like ever quitting YouTube, but again, I don't want to make a promise of like a video a week as much as I would love to be consistent with that. I don't know what this next chapter is going to bring. I will try to record as much as I possibly can, and I will try to edit whenever I possibly can. I appreciate you guys if you have supported me throughout all of these years. If you would like to stick around and see where my life in Chicago leads, oh my gosh, I can't even imagine where it's gonna go. I haven't even been here for 2 years yet, and like you can see how much has happened since moving here, which is crazy. It changes you. It really does. It's the best thing that I've ever done for myself. Not the point. The point is I really appreciate your support. I really appreciate you guys watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that if you're at a stage of your life like I am, if you're at that same age, that you try the thing that might make you seem crazy. I hope that you do the things that scare you. I hope that life brings you all of the good and opportunities that it possibly can, and I hope that you take those opportunities with as much gratitude as possible. Anyway, I hope that you guys enjoyed. Please make sure to hit the subscribe button down below if you have not already, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!